In the whirlwind of our daily lives, anger often lurks just beneath the surface, waiting for the slightest provocation to erupt. It's a familiar feeling, isn't it? That rush of heat, the tightening of the chest, the clenching of fists. We've all been there, caught in the throes of frustration, feeling as though the world is conspiring against us. But what if I told you that the key to a more fulfilling life lies not in the external chaos, but in how we manage our internal responses? Today, I want to share 10 ways to control anger and master yourself, to transform that fiery emotion into a tool for growth rather than a weapon of destruction. First and foremost, let's talk about personal responsibility. It's so easy to point fingers when things go wrong. It's because of you that I'm feeling this way, we often say, as if the world outside is solely to blame for our emotional turmoil. But what if we shifted that narrative? What if, instead of blaming others, we took a step back and asked ourselves, what part do I play in this? This simple shift in perspective can be revolutionary. It allows us to focus on the situation at hand rather than getting lost in a sea of complaints. When we acknowledge our role, we empower ourselves to take action. I need to handle this better, we might think. I can help others instead of just feeling angry. This sense of ownership can be the first step toward mastering our emotions. Next, we must confront the insidious nature of negative thinking. Pessimism can be a slippery slope, leading us deeper into despair and frustration. It's like a dark cloud that obscures our vision, making it hard to see any light. Instead of succumbing to this negativity, we can choose to acknowledge our reality while fostering a mindset of rectification and optimism. What did I do wrong? We can ask ourselves. How can I change the situation for the better? By reframing our thoughts, we can lift ourselves out of the depths of negativity and into a more constructive mindset. It's not about ignoring the bad, it's about finding a way through it. Now let's talk about problem solving. It's easy to get caught up in arguments, to let our anger fuel a cycle of blame and defensiveness. But what if, instead of arguing, we focused on finding solutions? No one is perfect, and we all make mistakes. When we scold others in anger, we're not solving anything. We're just perpetuating the cycle of negativity. Instead, let's prioritize collaboration. How can we fix this together, we might ask? By shifting our focus from blame to problem solving, we create an environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute to a solution. This not only alleviates our anger, but also strengthens our relationships. Holding grudges is another trap that many of us fall into. It's like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks, each one representing a past grievance. The weight of that burden can be exhausting, draining our energy and clouding our thoughts. Instead of holding on to resentment, we can choose to let go. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the behavior that hurt us. It means freeing ourselves from the shackles of anger. I choose to focus on the future. We can tell ourselves, I won't let the past dictate my happiness. By releasing grudges, we open ourselves up to a brighter, more positive future. In our digital age, it's all too easy to fire off an angry email or text in the heat of the moment. But how often do we regret those impulsive messages? When we're angry, our words can cut deep, causing irreparable damage to our relationships and careers. Instead of hitting send, let's practice restraint. I'll wait until I'm calmer. We can decide. By giving ourselves time to cool off, we can approach the situation with a clearer mind and a more measured response. This simple act of patience can save us from a world of hurt. Another powerful technique is to write down the positive aspects of those who frustrate us. When anger clouds our judgment, it's easy to overlook the good in others. But if we take a moment to reflect and write down their positive traits, we can shift our perspective. What do I appreciate about this person? We might ask ourselves, what good have they done? This exercise not only helps us see them in a new light, but also cultivates gratitude, which can counteract feelings of anger. Facing difficulties head-on is another crucial step in mastering our emotions. It's tempting to avoid challenges, to bury our heads in the sand and hope they go away. But avoidance only leads to more frustration. Instead, let's embrace the challenges that come our way. I will confront this, we can affirm. By practicing our responses to difficult situations, we build resilience and emotional control. When we learn to face our fears, we empower ourselves to navigate life's challenges with grace. Staying calm in every situation is a skill that can be developed with practice. When faced with adversity, it's easy to lose our cool and react impulsively. But if we train ourselves to think critically, we can approach problems with a level head. What's the best way to handle this? We can ask ourselves. By taking a step back and viewing the situation from multiple angles, we can recognize not only the mistakes of others, but also our own limitations. This awareness helps us respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Reflection is another powerful tool in our emotional toolkit. When we feel that familiar surge of anger, it's essential to pause and consider the reasons behind it. Why am I feeling this way? We might wonder. By examining the root causes of our anger, we can gain insight into our emotional triggers and learn to manage them more effectively. This reflective practice can prevent us from making regrettable decisions in the heat of the moment. Finally, we must learn to relieve our emotions in healthy ways. Suppressing our feelings can lead to a buildup of tension that eventually explodes. Instead, let's find constructive outlets for our anger. Sharing our feelings with a trusted friend or family member can provide relief and perspective. Regular exercise can also be a powerful way to release pent-up emotions, allowing us to channel our energy into something positive. If we find ourselves on the verge of tears or an emotional outburst, we can think of happy memories or engage in activities that bring us joy. Meditation, too, can be a transformative practice, helping us lower stress and anxiety, which are often at the root of our anger. And if we're not ready to share our feelings with others, journaling can be a safe and effective way to process our emotions. Writing down our thoughts allows us to externalize our feelings, providing clarity and understanding. In this complex and competitive society, mastering our emotions is not just beneficial, it's essential for our success and well-being. The Vietnamese proverb, "Anger costs wisdom," rings true. When we allow anger to cloud our judgment, we risk making decisions that we'll later regret. By learning to control our emotions, we not only enhance our own lives, but also improve our relationships with others. The path to emotional mastery is not always easy, but it is undoubtedly rewarding. As we navigate the chaos of life, let us remember that we have the power to choose our responses. By reflecting on our personal responsibility, avoiding negative thinking, focusing on problem solving, letting go of grudges, practicing patience in communication, recognizing the good in others, confronting challenges, staying calm, reflecting on our emotions, and finding healthy outlets for our feelings, we can transform our anger into a catalyst for growth. In doing so, we pave the way for a happier, more fulfilling life, rich with meaningful connections and personal fulfillment.